What's up, everybody? It's your boy Kareem here. You can call me Reem or Kareem. Don't really make me a difference, but that's besides the point. We got NBA playoffs here, playoff basketball, baby. Yesterday was day two of the playoff. Game two, it was a doubleheader. In the first game on the Eastern Conference, we had the Detroit Pistons taking on the New York Knicks. And on the other side of the bracket in the Western Conference, we had the Denver Nuggets and the Los Angeles Clippers. Let's talk about that first game first. The Pistons versus the Knicks. It came down to the wire. I think the Pistons end up winning that game by 6. Final score 100 to 94. And this was a pure physical, almost 80s, 90s style Eastern Conference basketball game. Cade Cunningham was an absolute dog in this game. 33 points, 13 rebounds. I know the talk of the town was his first playoff game where he kind of struggled. His counting stats were still good, but he shot kind of poorly from the field. His decision making wasn't as sharp as we've seen it throughout the season, especially for a basketball player as smart as Cade Cunningham. And I feel like he was really relaxed this game, and he let the game come to him, and he played his game. I mean, he was pushing the tempo the entire game. I have it in my notes here. In that first quarter, he had 6 rebounds alone, and a lot of times those rebounds he was getting the defensive rebound, and I literally wrote it down. He was a one-man fast break, just pushing the ball by himself. We seen a play, I believe, at the end of the third or second quarter, where the clock was winding down. He got the rebound, pushed the full length of the court, and scored over 2 Knick defenders. And I mean, that was Cade all night. In the fourth quarter, he did slow down a bit. Not quite sure how many points he had in that fourth quarter. Yeah, like I was saying, OG took the Cade assignment again this game. I feel like Cade was a lot more prepared. He used his ball screens. I have to give a huge shout out to Jalen Duren. He was super effective screening tonight and being the dribble handoff guy in a lot of those screens. He was also an amazing roller to the basket. He had 12 points, 13 rebounds. And that was the Pistons just game plan this entire game, dominating the glass. They had 3 guys ended with a double-double, double-digit rebounds. Obviously, Cade Cunningham, Jalen Duren, then Tobias Harris, a 15 and 13 game, the veteran Tobias Harris. He really put his footprint in this game. He had so many key offensive rebounds that led to extra possessions for the Pistons. And I mean, you can't talk about the veteran leadership from Tobias Harris enough. He's been criticized in the past, especially when he was in Philadelphia, for, I don't want to say his disappearance in some playoff games, but he had his ups and downs in the playoffs with Philly, and it led to a lot of fans questioning his playoff performance. But Tobias Harris showed up tonight. And on the other side, the veteran experience from Dennis Schroeder for the Detroit Pistons. I mean, Dennis Schroeder outscored the entire New York Knicks bench by himself. He had 20 points, including a huge go-ahead 3 in the final 50 seconds of this ball game to basically seal the game for the Pistons. So all hats off to the Pistons. They did an amazing job. Malik Beasley wasn't as superb as he's been all season, shooting 3 ball, just 1 for 9 from 3, but they were still able to come out and win this game. Now on the other side, for the New York Knicks, also a bit of a struggling shooting night. OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges, I have it in my notes, they're supposed to be 3-and-D wings. Both of these guys were 0 for 3 to start the first quarter from 3. Jalen Brunson, he only had 4 points in the first quarter. Karl-Anthony Towns was hooping in the first quarter, but he didn't score a single basket in the second quarter. No points in the second quarter. Also, going back to Tobias Harris, I have to give him credit for that. He was the primary defender on Karl-Anthony Towns this game with help side from Jalen Duren. Jalen Duren took the Josh Hart assignment, and Josh Hart isn't known to be a knockdown shooter. So a lot of times, as Tobias Harris was guarding Karl-Anthony Towns, Jalen Duren was coming over and playing great help side defense. But that's a part of defense. It takes a team to guard a guy like Karl-Anthony Towns, and they did an exceptional job tonight, leading him to 0 points in the second half. Just taking another look here at my notes, Jalen Brunson, he got it going in that second quarter. He had 14 points in the second quarter alone. He came out and hit 3 threes in that second quarter and really started to shift the momentum in the Knicks' favor before the Pistons were able to ease things back. And I think they ended up leading the second half with a 6-point lead. Going back to Jalen Brunson, we seen Asar Thompson as the primary defender on Jalen Johnson here tonight. Asar, obviously, he fouled out of that game, and I believe only 21 minutes of play. Asar Thompson is an amazing defender. I believe his twin brother, Amin, is just a tad bit of a better defender. Two freak of nature athletes, two gritty defenders. But I believe Asar was just a bit too physical tonight. You know, this Detroit Pistons team is known for their physicality. They beat up the opposing team. They really get after it defensively. They're aggressive. They let you know that they're there. And I feel like Asar was kind of overdid it on the physicality tonight. He could have toned it down a bit, especially when he checked back into the game in the third quarter and he already had 4 fouls. And the way he ended up fouling out, Jalen Brunson pump fake, got him in the air, kind of jumped into his body to foul him out, and that was Asar Thompson's night. But I do think Asar Thompson did an exceptional job guarding Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson's counting stats were amazing: 37 points, 7 assists. But if you take a look, Jalen Brunson also had 6 turnovers and 5 fouls. The Pistons really did a good job at limiting him and making him work for every basket, and then on the defensive end, making him play defense. So that's how the Pistons were able to come out on top of this game. Just looking at my notes here, the Knicks bench, they were a no-show tonight. They only had one guy score any buckets off the bench. Miles Deuce McBride had 8 points. Those were the only 8 points scored for the Knicks in this entire game. Meanwhile, on the other hand, Dennis Schroeder had 20 points alone off the bench. Malik Beasley added 9. So that's another factor into what went into this game. Also, the turnover battle. The Knicks had 10 turnovers at halftime. That was just something that you can't do in a basketball game. That loses a basketball game when you have that many turnovers, giving the team that many second chance possessions, especially when we look at how the Pistons also dominated on the offensive glass. You can't give a team turnovers and offensive rebounds. Those are just extra on top of extra possessions. And when the other team has the ball that many times compared to you, you're bound to lose the game. Like I said, just looking at my notes here, the Pistons have 14 offensive rebounds. You could just never give up that many offensive rebounds to the team. They won the rebounding battle in total, 48-34 in favor of the Pistons. But those offensive rebounds really came back to bite them on the rear end at the end of this game. Just a few more things. The Pistons have to get better at closing games. They let the Knicks in the fourth quarter, in the final 5 minutes, go on a 12-2 run. And in that run, Cade Cunningham wasn't really touching the ball. He had been spectacular all night, but in that particular quarter, OG Anunoby did a superb job at keeping him off the ball, denying him the ball, and just not really letting him get comfortable. And the Pistons have to do better at being able to get their star player the ball in the fourth quarter. We know when it comes down to the playoffs, a lot of these times, and when you see a team so many times in a 4, 5, 6, 7 game series, they get to knowing your offensive sets, your rotations, how your offense is going to flow, what plays are you going to run, when this guy's going to get the ball, when that guy's going to get the ball. And a lot of times it might sound kind of cliche, but it just comes down to your superstar player bringing you home. We see this a lot in the playoffs where a team doesn't really have it going, and they just use their superstar player to bail them out. Cade he done a great job in the first 3 quarters, but in that fourth quarter, it was the role players, the Tobias Harrises, the Dennis Schroeders, that kind of bailed the Pistons out towards the end, which isn't a bad thing, but you can't always bank on that, and you just have to do a better job at getting your superstar players the ball towards the end. Just going back to the Knicks, Karl Anthony Towns, 0 points in the second half, absolutely unacceptable from an all-star max player like Karl Anthony Towns. Jalen Brunson had 37. If Karl Anthony Towns just came with 10 more points, the Knicks walk away with a win and they go up 2-0 in this series. It's an entirely different series, but the Pistons were able to fight back. They were able to stay into this game and come out with this win. And now the series is 1-1. All the NBA players say a series doesn't start until the road team gets a win. And the Detroit Pistons were able to do that tonight. Shout out to Cade Cunningham, the entire Detroit Pistons, and Dennis Schroeder with that go-ahead bucket, giving the Pistons their first playoff win in 17 years. 17 years is insane. You guys can't see, but my guy Matt is behind the camera. He's only 18, so the Pistons almost haven't had a playoff win since he's been in the world. That's insane to think of, but shout out to the Detroit Pistons, man. This is Kareem. I'm gonna be dropping a lot more of these reaction style videos, reacting to games, reacting to series, giving my predictions, my award predictions, things like that. So stay tuned, man. Plenty to come. Comment down below, subscribe, share this with your friends, your family. I'm really trying to get things active, really trying to make a name for myself in this sports and media space. So yeah, man, Kareem signing out.